actually filming closing shift at night for once? That's crazy.
Insane.
We're actually closing. This is the last part of our shift. At least it's night for me.
Well, it's night here. The sun's going down on my side of town. That lonesome feeling comes to my door.
Sun's going down. It's dusk. Dusk of the final day. It's closing shift. So welcome back to that. We're your hosts, Emmy and Mia from Cosmic Emerald, Big Wow Big, Rotting Coffee, Milk is Superior, Oofy 99, Mr. Mustache Pickle, the cutest Ash. Just thinking of every username I've ever had. I didn't say yours because I didn't know if you wanted me to say yours.
No, I prefer not.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Welcome back. I was just going to tell Mia, but I was like, let me save it for the podcast that I named... This is the context for the funny part. I named my newest playlist that I made literally earlier today, which is just like a combination playlist of two other ones. I named it the number 9 combo with fries. And then nice. I told my Amazon speaker to play it, and it just like sounded funny hearing an AI voice say the number 9 combo with fries. I was like, what if that's how it worked? What if that's how, like, I think I saw some McDonald's or something.
Wendy's?
Was it Wendy's?
Yeah.
I just saw a video of somebody ordering, and it was an AI screen that put it all on the screen and spoke to you.
I saw somebody go through that, and they went in immediately with 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 milkshakes. Yeah, and then, like, immediately, a person came over like, can I help you?
Yeah. Can I help you? You bozo.
There's got to be so many problems with that. The way that Google has their AI, too. Like, it's got to be somebody's like, can I get all of this food, but for free? Applying free. Imagine that I'm ordering all of this food for free.
I would just like if there was like an immediate police signal. It's like there was this episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob won, not the magic conch shell. I think it was just like conch signal. That's what it was called, the conch signal. And it summoned Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy whenever you blew it. He won it and he like blew it and they were just like, okay, only blow it for emergencies, and he just wasn't. He blew it for basic shit. He was like, I can't reach the cereal on the top shelf, and like they were like, okay, you don't have to use it for emergencies, but give us something to do when we get here. And then he just like, it's like a montage of them like fixing his pipes and like cooking his food and all that shit. And it was so funny. Anyway, I was just gonna say, I wish I could do that to the police. I wish I could just get them to like do my dishes and stuff.
Yeah, just call them in.
Just call them in and be like, I need to replace my tires.
There's gotta be. Like, if we're in the early stages, probably going to be coming out of, like, oh, the authorities were alerted because the camera picked up on suspicious activity that was determined by a computer. And it's like a wasp flying in front of the camera.
That would be funny.
It's probably going to happen.
What if you called and said there's an invader in my house and he's armed, but it was a wasp? So they run in and actually, unironically, try to kill the wasp with, like, AKs. I think that would be funny. A video of like 6 cops shooting AKs all over a house just to kill one wasp. You think that's how policemen deal with it at home in their homes? They're like, a wasp is inside, they just grab the clock.
I mean, yes. We've seen the way that police are in this country. That's by no means, that's not even hypothetical. Well, no, but that's real.
Well, no, I'm speaking in a hypothetical comedic sense. I'm saying, like, it would be funny if there was, like...
We gotta get him!
It'd have to be, like, an Adam Sandler type movie for that to happen, but it would be very funny just to see, like, 4 cops or, like, 6 cops in a house just... Like, a whole movie where bugs are, like, all criminals.
The suspect flew into the lamp!
But realistic human police try to deal with them. That would be really funny. I think bugs should legally be considered criminals.
Yeah, I mean, they're breaking and entering all the time.
Yeah. They're always up in my shit.
I'm tired of them.
And that's illegal.
I thankfully have not been having problems with bugs for the past, like, month or so. Because when I started growing tomatoes, it was just, like, endless bugs. And even still had to pick off, like, a few stragglers here and there. And I've now reached a point where I'm no longer, like... I'll see maybe, like, 1 bug a week. Mm-hmm. And that's just, like, a normal amount for this season. So, thank God.
All we have is flies. Because it's summer. And our neighbors don't take out their fucking trash enough. And I live in an apartment complex, by the way. So my neighbor's right across from my front door. So that's why they get in.
They're fostering fugitives. Or harboring fugitives,
They're
that's
fostering fuels. I love fostering fuels. Foster fuels. I love foster fuels.
Foster the Fuels is like, it's like Foster the People. They made the Pumped Up Kicks. Except it's not they, it's just one guy.
Pumped Up Kicks. That song really helped my mental health. It was really good.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I loved it. Showed it to my kids. Like on the video, you know, I showed them the music video.
I was listening to the song Traces by Red Vox the other day, and I hadn't ever listened to the actual like lyrics of it. I didn't pay that close of attention. But then actually looking at the lyrics, I was like, oh my God, this song's about school shootings. And I just like did not, like I didn't know that until I like looked at all the lyrics in context. I was like, oh my God, I've been listening to this for so long. I didn't even realize the connotations of this.
My 6th grade teacher played Pumped Up Kicks just like in class one day. I don't know why, but I didn't know it was about school shootings when they did that.
Don't come to school tomorrow because it's summer vacation.
My high school did get a bomb threat email to the principal when I was like 17, I remember.
Sorry.
And we wanted to skip, me and my sister, that day, but we went anyway. I think we were forced to go, probably. And we just went, and it didn't happen. So it was just it was clearly just an empty threat, but it was still a threat.
We're not gonna let any threat of mass loss of life stop this calculus.
Excuse me, Mr. Principal, if you don't cancel classes tomorrow, I'm going to put a bomb in your school, a kiss bomb, and I'm going to spread kisses.
If you do not stop the commencing of your school on the day of which LEGO Star Wars releases, then I will make a serious threat. There will be no school that day.
I will bring down the rebellion of your school using my empire, for I am Darth Little.
That's the guy, it's like the same comic as Lost. It's from like another in that series. It's like, today is a most historic day. Put it in the history books. The day that LEGO Star Wars 2 releases. Or was it like, it's either LEGO Star Wars 2 or 3. And that that released on September 11th, like 2009. Just chose a real good anniversary there. The only thing that ever happened on that day.
Well, someone had to do something else on that day.
Oh,
Think about the people that live with that for a birthday. That probably bugs some of them.
I feel like you gotta just have good spirits about it.
You just gotta be like, let's start it, or not let's, I guess, neither of our birthdays are 9/11, but let's just like suggest like a Facebook group, like an uprising of people whose birthdays are on 9/11 and want to take the date back. Their slogan will be, forget.
Forget about it. All right, everybody that has a birthday on 9/11, we're going to be congregating. We're all going to be celebrating together and forming a union. We're going to be flying all of you out.
We'll actually be flying you in to a building. I mean, like we're going to be celebrating in the building. That's what I mean.
Yeah, just park it right there.
Don't take that out of the context. I'll laugh really hard if you do.
Don't you make this weird. We're being normal about this.
Why are you being weird?
I swear, it's like sometimes you guys listen to us and you think that we're saying all these crazy offensive things that nobody should say. And you hear that in your ears and you think, they said that, but we didn't, but we did.
Let me explain this. If you're my future husband and you're listening to this, know this. Don't ever, if I tell you I'm not mad, don't ever tell me, but you're acting like you're mad. Because I'll become mad. Growing up.
And you don't want to become mad.
Too many people would be like, you look mad. Why are you mad? I'd be like, I'm not mad. And then they would be like, but you look like you're mad. I just have retching bitch face.
Wretched bitch face.
But I have like resting bitch face, but like, well, I used to a lot more. I smile like a dope nowadays because I'm just giggling at everything because I'm a girl and girls giggle at everything. But I'm not angry. Like that's just like one of my peeves because socially so many people used to just be like, but you look mad. Like, why are you mad? I'd be like, I'm not fucking mad. Now you're making me mad. But as a kid, I wouldn't admit that they're making me mad because of my ego, Chow.
It's like, yeah, now you're bothering me and everybody.
Yeah, like nobody else in this room likes that I also look mad. So like, why do you give a shit so much? Try to make me feel better because you're doing the opposite.
Sometimes you gotta just let people be. Sometimes you see somebody and it just looks like I've gotten a lot of that same thing before where like
If you make me cry, I'll make you cry blood from your face.
oh, it's something that my mom does a lot where she'll just put words in your mouth for whatever. Like I'll just have a blank expression after something somebody says and be like, "Oh, you're thinking this, so you're saying that in your head." It's like I'm literally just I'm just here. I'm just standing here.
My mom will put opinions in your personality. It's mainly with food. She will be like, "But you love this food." I'd be like, "When on fucking planet Earth did I ever tell you that I like lima beans?" Because, like, first of all, I hate those. And I told her that for a while. Like, some of them, they're, like, totally accurate. She'll be like, "I remember that you don't like this specifically," and, like, play it up so hard that I don't like a thing because I actually don't like it. And then other times she'll just be like, "I thought you didn't like this food." I'd be like, "Well, I never told you if I did or didn't like it." And she was like, "Oh, I just assume you hate most." She used to assume I just, like, I guess just everything about me. She used to just assume my opinions. Like, I'd be like, I don't know. As a kid, I didn't have the ability to speak up for myself socially, and I had a bunch of things that were untreated and undiagnosed going on in my head, so I just, like, rolled with all the punches. It's why I didn't, like, think I was trans until I was, like, 20 and come out when I was 22. Because first of all, I came out because I moved out of my parents' house, and second of all, I just didn't want to fucking argue with people. Like, I watched people fight all the time over dumb shit when I was a kid, whether it was in my house or not in my house. And I would just be like, I don't want to do that. So I figured not to engage. I was kind of like a not a peaceful protester, but just a peaceful not fighter backer.
You were Switzerland.
I totally get that reference to whatever Switzerland
They're
isn't
politically
doing.
neutral in everything. They do not get involved.
I was pretty much neutral. Like, I used to get yelled at, and, like, some people fight back with their parents when they get yelled at. Nope. I was so silent that they would get mad that I wouldn't respond. I'd be like, "Why do you want me to fight you?" Like, I don't want to fight you. Like, you're yelling at me. Yell at me and get it out, and then fucking leave me alone.
There's already enough yelling for both of us.
But I just hated conflict. I still hate conflict, but, like, I'm much more down to fight if somebody wants a fucking fight
Hey,
now.
why don't you like conflict? What the fuck's wrong with you?
You're right. I actually love conflict. Go follow me at Conflict Lover on Twitter. I just tweet about conflict all the time.
I didn't know you had 10 million alts.
Yeah, 10,000,001 actually.
The original.
I have this. That just reminded me of I saved this meme recently that was it was like Dick Lover 30,000. I am the biggest dick lover on the planet. Reply from Dick Lover 30,001. Actually. It was so funny, and it was just like the old egg default picture on Twitter. It was like an old Twitter picture. It was so funny.
That's a lot like the thing that's like, "Oh, that's a nice foot fetish you have there. Mind keeping it about 50 million feet away from me?" Did you say 50 million feet?
Yeah. How many feet was that exactly? For my research.
Describe it slower.
Describe it more sexually. Describe it in a hotter way.
Now tweet it pregnant.
What?
Yeah, things like, "Now draw her pregnant."
No, I don't.
It's just like people being weird on like art of characters or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I mean, like, I've seen it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's like, I'm chill with that. I just like, I have seen that. Or heard
Draw
that.
her farting on a cake.
Draw her with feet for a head and head for feet. Draw her with one leg that ends in a head and 2 feet instead of one head. What I did want to share today on this episode of Closing Shift, episode number 17 or 18 or something. 18. Wow. Our show can vote, maybe.
If 18 months is about as far as that goes, which in fact, it's not been months. It's been weeks.
I can check. Let me check. Let me do a little research. Hold on now.
I'm making so many like verbal slip-ups recently in really weird ways, like thinking for a moment there that like months and weeks for the same thing. I have been doing something recently when I type that is I will have typos and I'll say the wrong word, not because it's like a misspelling or a typo or something like that. I will just instead write out the word that rhymes really closely with the word I meant to say, Like, if I say, like, I could do that, I might say I could do that. Like, GOOD. It's like, what the fuck? And I don't notice myself doing it, but I'll just write in, like, rhyming words instead of the actual word.
Yeah, that is...
I think my brain's turned to mush.
Could be troubling in some situations.
I don't think you should be allowed to drive anymore.
Yeah.
Testing for my license in a couple days. I'll update you by the next episode.
I've had mine for 8 years, so I don't have anything there. What I did do today, though, I was going to say, and if you listen to the show and you watch Cosmic Emerald on Twitch, you would have seen it, but I was playing on TMTL for my stream today. It was like a 3.5 hour total stream, but almost the entire last half of it was exploring one cave that just led into like more caves. There were more generated structures that were within those caves. And it was just like this like 1.5 hour long exploit. It was one of the most successful and crazy adventures I've ever had in a Minecraft cave.
Nice.
I ended the going deeper into the cave by finding this like one of those like spider spawner houses that like a skeleton sleeps in. I don't know what they're called, but I found one of those and I found like 1 million chests in it. I actually found another one on my way out that was like not far from that one that I found the first time. Schultzman came out. Schultzman saw me find both. And I found like 7 diamond swords and like 4 of them were enchanted with random shit. I found like a bunch of diamond other tools. I found a bunch of diamond and iron armor that was enchanted. I found like a bunch of ingots. I found a bunch of diamonds and emeralds and other ingots. I was like, holy shit. Should have seen me screaming about it. It was funny. I might make it a video on my channel, but I also had a fun time in the cave. It was also a funny moment. I made a clip of it. I keep getting baited by the block lag.
Oh my god, yes.
Which sometimes, if you haven't watched any TMTL or you just don't know, it has almost 600 mods. So that's the one thing. But it lags so much when there's a bunch of people on. And sometimes when you're in your cave and you just break like regular blocks, sometimes it will appear behind them that there is like a block with like diamond in it or something.
It'll show like an ore vein.
It shows an ore vein just for like 1 second or sometimes a few seconds, and then it turns into regular stone or whatever. And it just happens way too much.
For a moment, it loads all the wrong textures.
But it's like when you're actively breaking the block. It's not like when you enter a new area. It's just when you like, when the blocks appear, they appear to be something else and then they change. Like, you should have seen how hard I got baited. I saw 6 blocks at the same time that were all like, almost all diamonds.
Oh my god.
It was like there for a few seconds. I was like, oh, but these are real. And then it fucking changed. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? The clip was crazy. That was so funny. Because I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
It was a real 99% of gamblers stop right before they win big.
That moment sent my shit. That was fucked up. I did also want to say, speaking of Boomer and his things, if any of you have been watching Boomer for a while, you know he used to, when he still lived at his house like all the time, he used to have his chat be on his wall next to him, like get a perspective shift thing. And I tuned into Squidinkadink's channel today, and she's doing that now. And I screenshotted it immediately, and I DM'd Boomer, was like, oh my god, bro, Squid copied you. Let's sue. And he was like... He was like, I know. I mean, I stole it from some random streamer, but I said, no, you didn't. Well, I never saw that. And he was like, you're right. It was my idea. I was like, period, end of story. Life in prison for Squid. I'll get it trending. It was really funny.
Canceled immediately.
My favorite part was he was like, you're right. It was my idea. That's just
like you gaslit him into thinking that he's the original.
I didn't even have to gaslight him. He was so on board immediately. I only had to gaslight him for like 0.1 seconds.
I love gaslighting people into thinking they can do something. Like not the like encouraging gaslighting as opposed to the opposite.
You could do that.
It's like exactly. It's just like, dude, I've seen you do like you jumped over that fence that one time, right? It's like you can jump really high. It's like I don't remember that. No, I definitely saw you like, yeah, you can make that.
I like spreading false information and influencing people negatively based on that false information. I like manipulation.
A little bit of manipulation to start your day.
I like manipulation.
Oh, and if you haven't noticed yet, the TMTL has also been expanding.
I did notice because Boomer said it's been expanding this whole time, you idiots, to me in like call one day. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So you know what I said? I said I'm gonna go out until the world breaks from me going too far out.
I don't even know like what extent it's expanding by though, because there were signs at the very edge of the world border that had been there for at least several days. That like they had been there at the very edge, and I explored at multiple points like the edge of some of the world borders because I had portals right next to them, 1 block away. And then all of a sudden I hop on like a couple days later and the world border was like a couple hundred blocks further back. And I was like, that's not how it was every other time I was here. So I was like, if it's been expanding the whole time, I don't know how much I agree with that. Because it really seemed like there's some artifacts that prove otherwise.
I don't think it's really been expanding the whole time. I think Boomer started expanding it at some point and it's just been expanding since then.
Yes.
But
it happened right after, the day after I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to all the corners and the sides and the edges of the map. I'm going to completely fill out the entire map and get the whole thing. And so then I did that and I got just about everything. I did the entire outside perimeter of the map for my mini map. And then I came back to it the next day and I was like, oh, I remember where there was a thing. It was right at the very edge of the map. And I went over there and I was like, what the fuck?
You know what I really would like to do now that I'm thinking about it? I really would like to somehow, I'd have to find some kind of structure that you need, that there's only like one entrance to so I could do this. But I would love to build, I don't think it'd have to be that huge, but find some way to craft a clown to stand in the way of that entrance and put a sign on it that says clown in your way.
Clown in your way.
Clown in my way. That's a inside group joke. From
it is
a Jackbox session of Job from a long time ago.
Quite a while ago, yeah.
Because we don't play games anymore. We're friends, but like we don't hang out anymore.
Well, we don't like know each other.
We fuck sometimes.
We keep it cash.
We don't like talk or look at each other, but we do.
Yeah, just get to the very end of it. You know, both came and we're like, hey, you hopping on the server tomorrow?
I'm hopping on something.
I'm hopping on yo boy's dick.
I don't like men. Let me tell you about it. No, I just tried dating earlier this year and the guy was such a wad, so I just like stopped. I stopped trying to date and I've actually been more happy since. That is really sad because I am straight and I do tell people when I'm hanging out with them sometimes, I'm like, God, I wish there was some part of me that was homosexual or any kind of other sexual than hetero, because I am only sexually and romantically attracted to men. But that is like really, really tough because like you think being attracted to women is hard. You think being like a lesbian is hard. Being a straight woman is so hard because guys just can't fucking handle their own feelings. And then they fuck with yours because of that.
It's like the opposite of what most people pray for.
I almost like wish to God I was like some kind of
God,
gay.
Please make me gay.
And I know please, I know that I'm not attracted to women also because I have dated quite a few in the time that I was a boy before I was a woman because I pulled. I was just a good looking guy for somebody who didn't want to be one. I could pull. Like in high school, I remember somebody, like, there were like quite a few people after high school that I would just run into them and they'd be like, oh yeah, I had like the biggest crush on you in high school. I'd be like, sorry, I didn't know you existed. My bad. Like for somebody who was not like hot shit in high school, like I really was not that popular. Like I was kind of like a fit in, fuck with really anyone that was cool kind of person. But a lot of people just like had secret crushes on me. And I was like, oh guys, what the frick? But also like, oh, I'm glad you didn't date that person. Yeah, relationships are stupid. Stay single.
There's a whole movement happening in Korea now.
Okay.
That
I love where this is going. So North Korea recently.
No, not North Korea.
I know.
There's a whole movement happening there by a lot of Korean women that because like there's just a huge misogyny problem there and a lot of women being mistreated in relationships that now they've like banded together into this movement where they're just like, I don't care how tempting it is. I don't care how hot he is. None of us are like dating or dealing with men. We are going to ignore them. We're not going to date them. We're not going to like show interest in them because like it's a whole cultural thing. And unless things change to start being more respectful towards women, we are going to pretend men don't exist.
Sounds like their movement is heading down the spectrum. The other way. No, I mean, obviously that does not mean that they're all gay now, but I totally understand. Man, I should move to Korea. That sounds perfect.
Yeah, that's what all that like back in the days of like the suffragettes, that would be a lot of the
Suffragettes?
Yes.
What are those?
The women who fought for their rights.
Oh, maybe I should have known that.
Oh my god, it's like the basement yard where they're like, do you support women's suffrage? And they're like, It's like, just really didn't want to make it sound like they didn't know what it meant.
Do you support women's suffrage? No, I don't want them to suffer. That's what I heard like most of the time growing up. I probably said that at some point. I mean, when I was in third grade, somebody was like, my third grade teacher like asked the class like, what did Martin Luther King Jr. do? And I raised my hand and said he invented color because that's what I thought he did. I literally thought unironically that the world was black and white until Martin Luther King invented color. I'm not kidding. And that day, my knowledge was changed for the better. My understanding of Martin Luther King Jr. and his impact was changed. I did not learn what he did, but I learned that he didn't do that because I had only seen black and white footage in just like old times, so I thought the world was black and white, and I knew he had something to do with color, so I thought that's what it was.
I have a dream that man will not be judged by the colors on his television.
So, for all the pride flags, you can thank Martin Luther King Jr. for all those colors.
Oh my god.
That's what I thought he did.
That's amazing.
I was like 8 years old. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it is
it's
pretty
still
awesome.
amazing.
That is a pretty awesome thing for a kid to think about. That's really funny.
Like, that's one of those things that if you had told me that that's like something a classmate said, I would have the same reaction because that's just that existing in the universe is funny.
I'm glad that I did think that so that I could tell people that because like I mean I'm too pretty to be smart now, but as a kid I was too cute to be smart.
You get a lot more interesting stories if you're occasionally dumb.
Yeah, and I'm permanently dumb. I got holes in my brain. The only benefit to that is that like I'm almost 25, so my brain is like technically almost fully developed, but it'll always kind of be fully underdeveloped.
Actually learned a thing about that recently with the whole thing of it being like, oh, at 25 your brain is fully developed. This is not accurate information.
Don't take this away from me.
No, from an actual like thing about this is that the reason why it's said that at 25 your brain is done developing is because there was a study being done on like the development of people's brains across different ages. They would be like tested and scanned at multiple different ages following these subjects for several years. And before it was going from like adolescence into some degree of adulthood. And then they expected like around, like your, the end of puberty kind of, that would be around where your brain stops developing. But then they reached that point and they were like, hey, this still isn't showing signs of stopping. And so then they got additional funding to continue for a few more years. So then they, could check all the way up to 25 and they still saw, hey, there's still no signs of stopping of the brain's development. But at that point, they ran out of funding. They couldn't continue the study anymore. And so saying that your brain is done developing at 25 is just a misinterpretation of the fact that the brain development study could only go so far as tracking to the age of 25. But we don't actually know if there is a point in which your brain stops developing. For all we know, your brain could just, keep wrinkling as far as you live.
It probably does.
That's probably why it turns into mush at some point. It gets so wrinkly.
Sounds like some brain shit.
What if your brain had to shit? Fun fact, it does. That's what sleep's for, is so your brain can shit. Now you learned something.
Well, it's gotta happen sometime.
That's why it's like such a huge problem if you don't sleep, is because your brain needs to shit. Just so you know. Just some good information.
Great.
Maybe you're having a hard time trying to think of something, doesn't come to mind. Maybe you're just a little constipated.
You just need sleep.
That does help a lot. Sleeping, does refresh the brain.
I
think it is just like a constipation.
probably.
What if every thought that you had to have just had to like float down a river on a little boat, and they're like, "Oh, it's not my turn yet."
I don't know.
Anyway,
That sure would be something, wouldn't
boy, wouldn't that be interesting? Our next guest, who's your dream guest on your podcast?
it? My dream guest on our podcast. I don't know. I don't I don't like know famous people. I don't have. It wouldn't be them. It wouldn't be someone who's like famous. At least not that I can think of.
No, because they're probably not fun to be around.
Markiplier would be cool, I guess.
Would be cool.
Or like, who do I know like that exists other than my friends? I don't know. I would love to have Izzy on the show. I want to have Boomer on the show at some point. I'd love to have Chandler back on for a better episode than the last one.
Did that episode ever get published?
It did, I think. Yeah, it did.
It did.
It did.
Okay. We like had to do a soft reboot.
Oh no, I was talking about the closing shift one.
We didn't record a closing shift with Chandler.
Oh, that was a late night with Big and Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was, yeah, no, you're right. Okay. Because I remember setting him up and being like, he was like, do I need to record my audio? And blah, blah, blah. It was like, yeah, it's a podcast.
That's every time they record with Chandler. It's like, do I have to record my audio? It's like, how else are we going to get it? Where else do you think it comes from? The moon?
Yeah, he's like, can you guys capture it in OBS? Good, I guess.
It's so weird. I'm just now remembering, because I guess it would have been around that time. I'm just now remembering shitty Mike Chandler.
Yeah.
God, what an era that was.
It's in our Mario Party series with him. On Big Wet Big, we recorded Mario Party with him. And he had his shitty mic and it sounded terrible.
I still remember how crazy it was when he got like an actually good microphone and we could hear what his voice actually sounded like. We were like, no fucking way.
It's funny to go back and watch clips from his Twitch channel from like years ago and see his like, he used to have a setup, if you didn't know, before he built his PC. He used to have a setup that was 2 different laptops. And I don't know how he did everything on the 2 of them, but I know that he gamed on one and like Discorded on the other or something, I think.
Oh my God.
His like camera used to be mid and his mic used to be ass because he used this like shitty headset mic. He had a wireless headset for, he still uses the wireless headset, but he used a mic on it for a while, and wireless headset mics
I really
are
need to
ass.
like go back and listen to what his microphone sounded like then, because like I can't even.
It still sounds like him. It's just
Well,
terrible.
it's like it was such like a. It was so different to an extent that his voice sounded like different when you could actually hear it, and I want to go back and listen to what that sounded like just to get the mental image again.
He was shopping for mics
Hard lemonade.
when I had my Shure MV7, and I just told him to get that one, and he did, just because he can afford it, or at least could afford it, like $350 microphone.
Like around the same time that he got like his 3080.
I'm impressed by the people who have had like mostly the same equipment all these years, because not like it's like not wrong to like thinking in a way of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But like, I've actually just had numerous amounts of things break over the years, not even on purpose. Like my boom arm microphone and headphones all broke like a year and a half ago, like around the same time. Like, but that's also around the time I came out as trans. So
I can rest easy knowing that my microphone has been the same for the past about 7 years. I know there's a consistency up to that point, but I feel like even with having the same equipment for all those years, it has sounded completely different across all those years as I actually figured out how to make this thing sound good. And I was listening back to like a VOD. I was like watching a VOD of mine from like November of 2021 or 2022. Would have been around whenever Metroid Dread came out. And I was listening to my microphone in that. I was listening to my audio and I was like, there's absolutely no way I listened to this and was like, that's okay. It was like so completely like blown out. You could hardly, it was like, it had like no compression on it. So it's like everything was either so quiet or just like you just couldn't hear anything. It was terrible. And I'm like, that was this microphone? I was okay with that? Oh no.
I would have never been able to tell the difference. Like maybe if I watched it now I would, but I've never heard you sound any different than you do right this second.
Well, because we talk on Discord where it's not changed, but on my stream it sounds different because I've actually figured out what audio settings do in that time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could use more audio settings, My audio setting improvement was I put a windscreen and pop filter on my
How
microphone.
many filters do you have?
Just put a fluffy thing. How many filters do I have? What does that mean?
In like OBS, how many filters do you have on your microphone?
0.
Really?
Yes.
I have like 5.
I didn't even know you could put filters on audio sources.
Oh my god! You can put filters on audio sources, video sources. You can control.
I know you can put them on video sources because I used to have the circle face cam and I had to learn how to do that for that.
You can do noise gates. You can do compressors. You can do limiters.
That was like a whole Milk is Superior era. And also, I didn't know these things. Usually when you tell me my audio was bad, it was on our show, and you'd be like, send me your audio, actually, because you do it your way. That's why Mia edits the show most of the time.
Me here with my declining hearing, but I have
she just has a better handle on it.
I'm kind of particular about it, about like, there's certain things that...
My hearing's not great.
Yeah, there's certain things that I just over the years have picked up that's like, when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that bothers me. If I was the one controlling that audio, I would not do that. And so now whenever I hear audio that's like slightly off, I'm like, I could fix that. I want to fix that. I need to fix that. I'm sorry, is that a reverb? Is that a little bit of echo that I just heard because you had your compressor set to too low of a threshold? Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, you know what I did? I went on Amazon and searched fluffy windscreen for HyperX Quadcast. And then I hit the setting that says add to cart, and then I hit the others. I turned on the checkout, and I entered in the numbers for my card into the settings, and then I hit buy now, and then I ordered it, and I put it on my microphone. Also, the HyperX Quadcast, just so in case for some reason you're on the internet and you haven't seen that microphone before, it's a microphone that tells you if it's muted or unmuted with a giant red light on it, and this windscreen only leaves like 10% of that light visible, so thankfully I can still see it, but it has a hole specifically at the top for like the mute button, which is actually one of the things I like about it. But it just ever so slightly shows you at the bottom if the light's on or not, which I'm glad that it does. It's nice that it does do that because it clearly shows that they designed this for the HyperX Quadcast, which is nice. It's a good windscreen. It's worked really well since I got it. It does block out a lot of extra wind and stuff.
I have the most messed up, janky windscreen that you could imagine. I've been using it now for about year and a half, I want to say, maybe 2 years.
I used to use socks, so
I did that for a little while. My current windscreen is I have this like foam that it's not like a packing foam. It's like this sort of mesh kind of foam.
It's like those regular looking ones.
It's like it came with a mouse that I got like many years ago. It was like a part of the packaging of that mouse. So it's like
not one of those.
It's a very similar material to like the sound dampening foam. It's not as dense as sound dampening foam. So it's like a halfway point where it's still not like, it doesn't block 100% of like, I know that still like puffs. That's still like a thing that I can't avoid with this. But I took that, I cut off like a rectangle of it, and then I folded it over on itself into a cylinder and taped it up. And now that's what is on my microphone. It is a rectangular piece of foam that I taped into a cylinder to wrap around my microphone. That's what I've been using for so long.
Using the windscreen does make me feel a little better. Things like that used to be a little more okay with me, but if I have the power to like make something like that not look as stupid, then I'm going to, because I have OCD and things that can be done need to be done. That's how my life works. And yeah, I mean, I used like a headband once for windscreen. I used socks before. I had like a giant fluffy sock around my snowball for the longest time. And Shure microphones come with those fucking things. And
yeah.
I had a Shure microphone for like a couple years before it broke. Not even a couple years. It broke after like... What happened was the micro USB plug went in the fucking mic. It like popped into the mic and I couldn't get it out. And was I going to pay to fix it? No. Shure said they fix it for free, but they never gave me any information about how to fix it or how to send it to them or whatever. I didn't know where to send it and I was too scared to.
Don't take my baby.
I don't think I have that mic anymore. I think I eventually just like stored it for long enough and then didn't want it anymore. And then I had to use the snowball for a while. When I saw that I had the snowball, I was like, thank God I kept that thing, because I wouldn't have had a microphone otherwise. I didn't even have a headset at that point. And I had the Snowball, and then my boom arm that I had before it broke, which was old and shitty anyway, but it broke. And then my wireless headphones that I had had since 11th grade broke. Then I had to just use my like shitty wireless headset, which was also broken, but good enough to wear and use for a while. And then I bought this SteelSeries headphones that I'm wearing right now, and I'm only wearing them because my wireless headphones I have that are expensive and nice were giving me a headache, so I'm wearing the SteelSeries ones because they're lighter. And I have, speaking of which, random fact, I have 4 different audio output options for my computer. I have literally all the flexibility you could possibly want in audio output. I just remembered. I have speakers, I have earbuds, I have wired headphones that are softer and lighter, and then I have wireless headphones. And again, if a thing can be done, it will get done. That's how my life works. Besides that, what was I saying before? I was talking about my stuff that broke. That's right. Yes. So yeah, I went from the Snowball, and then once all my extra equipment broke and stuff, I bought this SteelSeries headset, and the headset mic was good enough, and I knew it would be good, or I knew it would be better because it's one of like the pink and green cable mics headsets. And those are always the better headsets. And the SteelSeries one actually was so good that most of my friends couldn't even tell I was using a headset for a while until I told them. And then I got the HyperX. Actually, you know what's funny? I'm just remembering. The boom arm broke like right after I got the HyperX, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Oh, I remember. No, that's right. I had that shitty JLab mic. I just remember that.
Oh my god, yeah.
That JLab mic sucked ass.
You had that for like one episode.
Please, I beg of you, family out there, do not ever give JLab your money. Their shit is so bad. Everything they make is bad, but their microphones are so bad. The microphone like looked cool and it looked nice.
Their Bluetooth headphones, bad.
Yeah, Mia had a pair of their headphones, but the microphone like has this like squealing sound in the back. It doesn't sound good anyway. It's like if you had a HyperX but you threw it at a wall before you started using it. It's so bad. I totally forgot about the JLab
There was like
mic.
An episode of this with the JLab. I had to EQ out like a horrible frequency in it.
I think it was late night with Big and Wow. I definitely at least already had the HyperX, but by the time of closing shift, because we started closing shift after my birthday and stuff, and that's when I got all this new equipment.
Yeah, it was when did we start? This like February?
I believe it was. We had just recently hit 4 months, so it was January probably then.
I think it was like early February, like the 2nd or something. Maybe we started stuff on that earlier, but I don't know.
I just know, yeah, that's true, maybe. I don't know.
To Google!
I don't know when we actually started. I don't know. Well, there might be files in our drive from whenever we started. But if they're from me, then I probably put it up later than...
Our announcement went out on February 1st.
Oh, nice. There you go.
There it is.
So we probably did start it in January.
By sheer technicality.
It's like when we started Big Wah Big a month before it actually existed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if we like had a month stockpiled. I think probably a big part of like the month in the like few weeks in between the beginning of filming and the beginning of the channel's existence, and by that I just mean like the first episodes going up, was like we gotta make the channel and we gotta make all the graphics, and then we did that crazy like rebooting in 2023 when we came back. I think that was that return. There were like 3 different returns to the channel after breaks.
God, it's like a Dragon Ball arc.
I don't remember if the 2023 return was the one where we did all that rebranding. I mean, I did most of it out of like content grind set, but yeah, that was when we made the more like bubbly text and the brighter, and made the orange and purple brighter and stuff, which was fun. I enjoyed that because I like Big Wah Big on the surface. It's just like the deeper work of it that is the thing that makes it not fun anymore. That's why we just went back to doing a podcast, because we can do that. We can afford a weekly podcast. We can't afford a weekly podcast and a daily show.
Yeah. When one of those will lock up your computer for like a whole day.
Mia has a family to take care of.
That is true.
I also have a family, but I don't have to take care of them like Mia does. I also do Cosmic Emeralds doing better than it has in like 2 years right now. So I'm also grinding that right now, making videos and streaming. And I just recently worked on my Twitch panels and got rid of like all the fucking ridiculously unnecessary ones. I also just added more hours to my job, speaking of which. And I haven't even gotten my car fixed that's been broken since August.
Money,
So,
money.
Well, broken is strong. It just overheats if I drive it for more than like 20 minutes. And thankfully my work is like right around the corner. So I don't have to go places most of the places I go regularly do not take me more than like 5 minutes to go
broken is a strong word. It'll just explode if I ride it more than 10 miles.
It just overheats. That doesn't make it undrivable.
You know, you are literally in the fucking, whatever that movie is, like Speed is what that movie's called or something, where it's like the bus can't drop below like 55 miles per hour or else it explodes. You have to keep your car going so fast just to keep the temperature down. You're actually in that movie.
No, but it's not speed related. It's not. I've also never heard of this movie.
Well, your speed does control your temperature.
Yeah, but it just overheats no matter where I go, as long as it's like on a normal road and more than like 20 minutes out. But there's a dealership for my car's maker and it's close by, and they have the history of my car since its like release. So like previous owners and stuff. So I'm going to bring it to them and they're going to fix it.
You know, I wouldn't advise going to like the dealership mechanic because they overcharge for literally everything and are generally like not great. But however,
I got bad news. There is nowhere else for me to take that car.
However, there's not a lot of better options, especially like there's one if you just don't have anything nearby or if the only things nearby are shady.
That is the best option. Also, in all seriousness, I'm not the one paying for it, so I don't really give a shit, to be honest. At least to my knowledge, I'm not the one paying for it. Maybe they'll be like, oh, actually, it was a little more expensive. Can you help us? That's my parents.
Just a little smidgen.
They said, like, we'll fix it. So I was like, okay. I told you guys I'd help you pay for it, so I'm not going to help you pay for it if you don't want me to.
Hey, whatever. I'll sit myself down.
I make enough money to help you guys pay for it, but if you don't fucking want me to, then I'm not fucking gonna.
Just let it go.
My car also desperately needs an oil change, which is a huge problem it's having right now.
I feel like that might possibly be related to the overheating.
I don't have the stereotypical sticker on my car that tells me when I need to get an oil change, and I never have. And I've had it for like 9 months, so it's probably needed an oil change for a majority of that time.
Well, it's for like however many miles you've driven.
I know. But I don't even know when it got its last oil change. I don't even know if it got an oil change that close to when we bought it.
Ever.
It's probably had one or two. That car's older than it has had oil changes.
That seems like the first step to fixing the overheating.
Well, they'll probably do that also when we bring it to them. Because there's like, you can pay for like a full car analysis where they'll tell you everything it needs. And we really just need them to fix the heating thing. Nothing else is majorly wrong with it right now. It just needs like an oil change, and whatever this heating issue is, it needs to be fixed.
It has to stop.
What's annoying is that, well, we brought it back to the fucking dealership for them to fix it. Sorry, not the dealership, the people we bought it from. And the people we bought it from kept it for 3 weeks and kept calling my dad and telling them how much they were testing it and fixing it. And then we came to their place right around the time they said it would be ready, but they didn't tell us it'd be ready. So when we came to their place, they were flustered because they didn't do anything in those 3 weeks, and they lied.
Well.
So we were like, I guess we'll keep the fucking car because it gets me to my campus and home.
Yeah, that sucks.
And now, like 9 months later, we're going to get it fixed hopefully soon. Because if my parents don't deliver on the timeline, then I'm going to go get it fixed.
Somebody has to do something. And it might be me.
It might be me. I mean, I already can handle adult responsibilities.
That's how I am every time that I see a chore in my house that I don't typically do, but hasn't been done for a few days. And I'm like, somebody might do something about this, and it might be me.
Yeah, I like my mindset around chores, because it's like, it depends on the chore, but like regular ones, my mindset is like, oh, I'm downstairs and I'm like making coffee. I can unload the dishes. That'll take like just as much time as it'll take me to make the coffee. And there's only like 4 dishes in the sink, so I'll just reload it. And then I got a clean sink and a bunch of clean dishes for the day. That took like less than 10 minutes. Dishes are like my favorite chore because it only takes like 2 seconds.
One thing that my family does that infuriates me for how easy it is to remedy and how little they want to do to fix it. That is taking out...
Somebody not putting an effort pisses you off. That's crazy.
taking out the trash can in the kitchen that is literally like, it's the kitchen is connected to the garage, and outside the garage are the trash cans. It is so
My family used to do that.
close. You can see the outside cans from the kitchen. But what my family will do...
You should pull their hair to the door and be like, you could see that, right? You could see this.
What my family will do is, instead of taking out the trash bag, they will instead just put a chair in front of the trash can so my dog can't get into it, but not change the bag. Like, they will acknowledge there is a problem, but they will not change the bag. And I was like, this morning, I was getting my breakfast, my brunch, whatever. It was more leftover rice that I hadn't made, and it was nice. But I was like, I'll put this in the microwave for like a minute and a half to heat up. Oh, hey, the trash can's full. Let me take out the bag, walk it all the way out to the cans, walk all the way back in, put a new liner in, put the lid back on it, and hey, there's still 30 seconds on the microwave. Just, it makes me mad for my dog's sake. That's the thing about it. It makes me mad for the sake of my dog, because, like, they get mad when she gets in the trash, and I'm like, it's not her fucking fault when you don't take out the can, because it's literally right there. All she has to do is look at it, and the damn thing spills over.
I don't remember what point in my life this was, but I think it was like later teens when we all still lived together. But at one point in my life, that we had a regular sized tall trash can in our kitchen. It just sat next to the fridge because our kitchen was weird and there was no normal place for a fucking trash can. So it just sat next to the fridge, like half in the way of a doorway, because there was nowhere else for it to go. And they would like ask me to take the trash out, because at the time I was like the only guy that wasn't my dad. And
you touch it, icky.
So they would be like, can you take the trash out? And I'd be like, yeah. And after a while, they wouldn't even ask me. It would just like, they would like overfill it as to not take it out, just because they would wait until I would take it out. And then they'd ask me if they had to wait long enough. And at a certain point, I remember sitting my mother down and being like, I really don't feel respected when you guys like only just like wait for the trash to fill up until I take it out, and then like get mad at me when it doesn't go out, because I'm not the only one that lives here and throws things away in it. That's why I have like little trash cans in my room for my specific things. And then I take those out also when I take the trash out. But I just don't feel very respected by that. And I think she gave me like some parent thing, and then nothing changed. But it's fine. That was like a long time ago. I don't know when that was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know. But it's fine, because I'm here now. And I do take out my trash because we live in an apartment complex, and I'm kind to my neighbors, unlike they are about their trash. But it's fine.
Look, I know discipline can be a very difficult thing to obtain in many walks of life, but if you find any relation in the situation of the trash can overflowing, and especially if you live with other people, where the trash can is already full, and you decide to cram one more thing in there, it's already full, you need to throw something away, take a moment and think about, if you want to throw the thing away, you can get a better place to throw it away where you don't have to go fisting a trash can. There is a better way.
Yes. Grab the cardboard box on top and then use that to push the trash down. There we go. I dare any of you to tell me with a straight face you haven't done that.
Well,
Everyone's done that.
Well, of course, you have to squish it down first before you're like, you have to make sure it's
That's
full.
like the craziest strat.
But there are times where it's like it's spilling out towards the lid. If it's starting to like pile up on top of the squish, then it's like you got a problem. You just grab both sides, yank it up out of there, and walk it away.
What's with all this trash? What is this? The trending page? Fuck off. Gotti.
Oh, it's been such trash on the internet lately.
You want to know how I've been improving my mental health? Not going on those platforms. I would recommend it to anybody.
And if you want our other recommendations, like for part 2,
and go to our Patreon.
Hey, we don't advertise that like almost ever, but we do have a coffee page. ko-fi/closingshift.
COFFEE.com/BigWowBig. Go there and pay us.
Is it Closing Shift Show or Closing Shift on there?
It's probably Closing Shift. It's only Closing Shift Show on platforms where we couldn't get the Closing Shift at.
That is true. That is correct.
Which is Twitter and our email also couldn't get that.
That is that. If you ever try to email us, you will in fact see a very formal name on there. Please refer to us only by our name, Mrs. and Mrs. Show.
Yes.
We are the widows of Mr. Show.
We are legally bound.
You know about Mr. Show?
No.
It's a sketch comedy thing done by...
It's a shame, because we were married, apparently.
Yeah, it was a sketch comedy thing done in the 2000s by David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, who you may know as, one, Uncle Ian from Alvin and the Chipmunks, and also Halo 2 NPC voice actor David Cross, and Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk. That's him, Saul Goodman. They did a sketch comedy show in the 2000s, and it had a lot of good stuff in there, and I think a lot of it might still be on YouTube for free, because people ripped it a long time ago. They have, like, classic stuff like Cookie Puss and just all kinds of stuff.
Does he also happen to be the father of Thor as well as part of the Star Trek show?
Holy fuck.
Whose last name is Odenkirk? Is Kirk even a Star Trek name? What am I thinking of? No, it's Captain Kirk,
you're thinking
right?
of Captain James T. Kirk.
See, I didn't even know about James T. I don't watch Star Trek.
Do you have any possible idea of what then the full name is of Captain Picard?
Yes, James E. Picard.
Not even that far in terms of, like, it is also another J name.
Jones E. Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard. Very French. Except he's very British, but he's also very French, and he likes his bergamot oil tea. My lovely bergamot Earl Grey. I haven't watched Star Trek in a minute because it's been so difficult with the insane number of ads on Paramount.
I haven't watched Star Trek in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime.
I also don't watch... I watch streaming services. Pretty much just watch Hulu.
Yeah.
Which is mostly just Adventure Time, Futurama, and One Piece with no ads. Because we have the no ad version.
Lovely.
And been catching up on One Piece. I'm about to enter Skypiea arc. I've seen all of Adventure Time, probably as many... I've probably seen the episodes of Adventure Time as many as there are of One Piece or more. I've also just recently... recently in my life in the general sense, but I've watched Futurama a few times through the past few years, but it has recently become a very, like, in the background show for me or when I'm going to bed.
There's a whole subreddit dedicated to people who sleep to Futurama.
That's awesome. I might join it. Might make my first Reddit account.
Yeah.
Except I'm not going to fuck Reddit. I'm not going on there.
It's terrible.
I don't go on normal social medias anymore. You think I've ever been on Reddit? Are you fucking kidding me?
I hate when websites require an account just to look at posts. That's the worst. When I click on an Instagram link or something for, like, some picture and it asks me to log in on my browser, I am immediately disinterested in anything regarding this.
Actually, do you have an account?
It's like, I'm just trying to look at one thing from this link. It's like, I want to use your service so much less because I don't want to have to stay logged into it just to look at one post.
Like when you're in bed with a girl and you're on top of her and you're about to put it in, you look down so you can put it in, and before you put it in, an X pops up in front of her pussy, and then you look up and her head has now become a screen that says, "Excuse me, do you have an account with us?" And then you're like, "Fuck," and then you leave naked because you're mad.
I'm not making an account for pussy.
And then you leave naked because you're mad. That's what made me laugh, because I didn't plan that line. You could use that for so many things, I feel like. You take off all your clothes to go pee at the stall in the public bathroom, and then you realize you did that, and now you're embarrassed, and you leave naked because you're mad.
That seems like one of those things you could just throw in there, like instructions unclear, Dick Cotton ceiling fan.
Have you ever done that? It's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's, how else are you going to get blown?
Do it when you're soft. Swing around like Spider-Man. Shit's crazy.
There is actually, like, this is one of those Justin Wong.
I don't want to know. Nope. I don't
No. There is like one of these Justin Wong stories about a guy who, like, he like attached a rope.
Who's Justin Wong? What is that?
Okay, so Justin Wong is this guy that he makes a lot of, or maybe it's Justin Wang. I think it's Wang.
Why do you know about these people?
Dude, he's fucking big on, like, YouTube and TikTok. He tells all kinds of...
big, especially his Wang.
What about his Wang? No, he's one of these people that they tell crazy stories about, like, all these
Just tell me about his penis.
Okay, it's not about him. It's a story that he told.
Oh, great. Tell me about that.
He relays crazy stories from the internet. There's this guy who he attached a rope to a ceiling fan and then tied one end of it around his wiener with a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of slack on it, so it's not just dragging him around. So that way, then when it moves further away, the rope pulls up, and when it comes back, the rope pulls down. And he had he did not. It was he did not tape.
Actually think this was a method of masturbating. There's no way he did not think that.
No,
no way.
Okay. So he laid down on the floor. He had a rope attached to one of the blades of the fan of the ceiling fan. And at the end of it, on one end, he had duct taped his penis to the other end of the rope, and he laid on the floor so it went further away, it would pull up, it came back, it would pull down. But as it kept spinning around, the rope sort of, it twisted and got tighter and got tighter. And at some point, he's wrestling the ceiling fan to get his dick out. He did try. He did get his dick stuck in his ceiling fan. The instructions were unclear. It actually happened.
You just don't do stuff like that. Rules of being a human, number 1. Don't tie your body parts to stupid shit.
Don't tie your body parts to anything moving.
It's like I want to go on the spinny swings from Six Flags, so I'm gonna wrap a rope around my waist and tie it to my ceiling fan and jump in the air. And then you pull your ceiling fan down and break your back because you're dumb. Who do you think you are? Newton Laws?
The Newton Laws, that's his name.
That was his name.
What's Newton's last name?
Laws.
You could assemble a whole thing.
Middle name Isaac.
There are people who have the last name Law, and you have people with the last name Judge, like Christopher Judge. Now, if we can get somebody with the last name Victim and somebody with the last name Perpetrator, I think we have something on our hands. That is probably the setup for a game of Clue. Those are Clue characters that I just made.
Think about the fact that there's a first name, a middle name, and a last name, and there's 3 words in the title of Law and Order. So here we are with 3 words and 3 opportunities for the usage of words. Now, I'm not saying name your child Law and Order, but I'm suggesting it.
But you could, in fact, get away with it subtly if you named your kid first name, middle name, Lauren Order.
Lauren Order.
Lauren Order. Last name, you have to be very specific in this to change your last name to Special Victims Unit.
Or make their last name Esivu. So it works. ESEEVU.
That's the one. You ever try and just spell something quickly? It's a word that you just you see it in your head and you say the word and you know the pronunciation, but you try really quickly to just find a spelling for it, and you come quickly to the realization that you just can't.
I more so just say things wrong a lot. I have a plan to say a bunch of words in order, and I'll switch out syllables of them on accident, or letters. It's just throwing syllables in a hat and pulling out random syllables.
That's it.
When I try to speak quickly, I'll be I need to use my crafting chest in my furnace, so I'll say, I'm going to go use my fafting in my churnus on accident if I speak fast enough.
I've had some real bad pronunciations over the years without even noticing. It's happened I feel I'm a lot better at it now, although I know I do still slur my words to a good degree. But
I'm worse at it now somehow.
Well, if you talk so much, you got to learn how to talk more efficiently, which is also more wrong. There's a clip from many, many years ago on a different channel, from a different Twitch channel I had, where I was playing Skyrim. And I was going to say, put anything into that. That was the sentence. And instead, without even noticing, until I went back and listened to it, I did not notice I said, bunny bing a bat. Just straight up, bunny bing a bat. Is it?
Yeah, the only form of talking of which I've gotten better at is just doing it.
Is it too early to have dementia?
It's never too early for an opportunity.
It's never too early to get your dementia on. Come on down to Sears and we'll get you set up today.
It's never too early for it to be Christmas.
In the future, we will have the technology to cryogenically freeze people and wake them up whenever we want. And people will definitely choose.
Unless it's in the past.
People will definitely choose. Okay, I want to go into cryostasis and I want to be woken up every year on December 24th and then go back into cryostasis at the morning of December 26th. So that way then it's always Christmas and they expect it to always be Christmas, but because they're going in and out of cryo every year, like nobody cares about them anymore because they just don't even exist. And so it's like they're like, oh boy, another Christmas. I get to have my continual Christmas. Where's my presents?
You're like, oh, I can't wait for Dad to come back out of stasis.
Yeah, it's like after 2 years, like how many years does that go on where like where they only really exist in a state of Christmas? That's like, I'm not buying you a fucking gift again. As far as you're concerned, you got one yesterday.
And maybe my gift this year could be you shutting the fuck up.
Maybe we just leave him in there this Christmas and don't tell him.
Yeah, maybe we should do a special. Wait, I have to see. Hold on. Oh, it's not. I was gonna see if Christmas was on a Friday this year. It's not. It's on a Wednesday. Fuck.
No!
And my birthday's on a Sunday. Oh, looks like I'm having a just partying at church.
The Lord's Day.
My birthday is December 29th, if you didn't know, because my parents must have just really liked having babies in December.
Easter must have just really done it for them.
All three of me and my siblings have December birthdays, and so does my mother.
It's quite a pattern.
My dad's is in June. It's kind of sad.
Just the lone wolf.
But who cares? It's Christmas and birthdays. Yay.
I just have to wonder, if you're going to have your birthday on a Sunday, then if you're going to give that up to God, why is it that we don't have an episode here of Closing Shift that we dedicate to our Lord and Savior?
Because I dedicate every Sunday to our Lord and Savior. That's why we upload these on Fridays.
Every Friday's a good Friday when Closing Shift goes up.
Yes. And we always lent from bad vibes on this show.
Isn't it crazy that, like, Friday is supposed to be... Good Friday is, like, the day that, like, Jesus was killed. And he was, like, put away. And then he rose on Sunday. So why is it that the day that he died is Good Friday? Wouldn't that be the not Good Friday?
He died for our bad sins. He did a good thing.
No, it cancels out.
Jesus dying was good. I don't understand why people are like, well, I really don't want to try and break down Christianity and why it doesn't make sense. What I was going to say is that I have a meme that's just like some like old painting of Jesus and a bunch of people around him or something. And he was like, what part of my story makes y'all fucking think I like crosses?
Yeah. There's not that
really
famous
funny.
painting of him like giving because he would like give lessons and whatever. He'd preach.
It's that. It's like, what part of my story makes you motherfuckers think I like crosses?
Yeah, people make the comparison of that a lot. That's like if JFK came back and everybody was wearing sniper rifles.
Everybody was wearing sniper rifles.
Yeah, just like little necklaces of sniper rifles.
I like going out to bars. I always dress in my finest rifle.
I feel like it's not a crazy thing to say that when you see the size of a cross. It's not like we're lugging those around. Although, I do have my own cross to bear.
People wear them on necklaces and earrings and stuff.
Imagine you've been dead for so long that the tool used to kill and torture you is now used as like style and fashion. Like there's like so much
it's crazy too, because like they'll have like Jesus hanging on it dead in churches.
It is kind of disturbing.
It's like, what makes y'all think that's what he wanted you to remember about him? You know what I'd love? After I died, instead of people like acknowledging my videos and all the cool things I did, just like putting statues of my dead corpse in their house.
Can we like dip into
That'd
this
be awesome.
alternate universe where Jesus died in a more gruesome way and we still honor it through like these horrible, gory, visceral statues?
It's like buying a new car every year and driving into the tree your friend drove into and died in front of every year in honor. It's like, are you dumb? Like, what does that even...
I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of other like... There's not a great deal of symbology going on in the Bible because it's all like verbal, whatever. It's like, well, I guess there's got to be like some visual representation of something. You got to have something.
Yeah. I mean, the normal cross is fine. You can like use the cross, but why you gotta worship the cross with like him hanging on it?
Yeah, that's the weird part of it. It's like, okay, so I guess it's like, because then like you're like really appreciating it. Then you're like forced to think about the moment and think about the weight of it. I guess the thing about that.
You're forced to think about it.
Well, yeah, it's like, it's not like you know, when you look at the cross and it's empty, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that's the thing that Jesus did. But when you see his body on it, then it has like a weight, I guess, is like the reason for that. It's like more immersive.
It's more, yeah, right. I like going to church and VR chat, actually.
There probably is like a VR chat church.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Gotta be like a congregation.
We should go sometime.
You ever? There was I think I've talked about it before. There's a place in Indiana called Incredible Pizza. That it was like a sort of Chuck E. Cheese kind of thing, maybe like more than a Chuck E. Cheese because it had stuff like some like laser tag,
slots and
yeah, like slot machines. But it was just like one of those like it was like the Pizzaplex kind of places. But on Sunday mornings, it would host like sermons. Like they would do like a congregation at the fucking Freddy Fazbear Pizzaplex.
That's something you would. That's something you would hear about in some dead ass town like Indiana.
Absolutely. Well, Indiana is. I would correct you on saying Indiana's a town, but the whole place is dead ass. There ain't shit to do in the Midwest.
The difference between a city and a town is something I've never been corrected on and do not intend.
A city is just a bigger town.
Yeah.
And also, that's still not Indiana.
And a town's a smaller city, is it?
Indiana is still not a city. That's still the state.
And it's still dead ass.
Indianapolis is the major city, and it has like one interesting thing happening with it. There's like one statue, and it's in the middle of, people in Indiana were so adverse to having roundabouts for the longest time, and we're like, whatever, it's weird, I don't like them. When literally the main staple feature of Indianapolis is the Circle Square, which is this statue in the middle of like this circular road that just goes around the statue and has a bunch of exits out the side to get in and out around. So it's like this, it's basically a gigantic roundabout with a statue in the middle of it. That's like a landmark, but everybody in Indiana was like, no roundabouts for us. That's the whole thing. That's your only thing is a roundabout.
Well, now there's no thing.
Because I ate it.
I ate the roundabout. It's not my fault. It looked like a donut.
How many rocks would you eat if you like if it was like a question of like, let's say like it's a solid like skipping stone size rock, and it's like you'll get like $1,000 for each of these that you eat. How many rocks you eating?
None. $1,000 is not worth that.
I don't know.
Not to me. No, I know.
Maybe you can find a nice soft rock. I mean, that's basically what Tums is. It's chalk.
Yeah, but I don't want to eat a rock. I don't care how soft it is.
Oh, such a fucking pussy, though. Come on, just like taste it.
Right. No, dude, I saw you eat rocks once. You're lying.
No, I saw you eat rocks at one time. I know you can do it.
Gaslight, yeah. You're right. I just, whenever people ask me those like unprompted, like, you wouldn't do this for like $1 million? No. I wouldn't.
But why not?
I don't like money. I don't like the economy. That's not worth doing this dumb thing. Dude, you wouldn't drive your car with your family and into a tree for $1 million. No.
But would you eat your family?
But would you do it for $2 million?
Okay, let's rephrase this question.
Or completely change it.
How many rocks would you throw at your car? No money.
What? How many rocks would I throw at my car? No money? Also none. Because I've been through enough struggles with that car.
I just don't get your mentality here.
I don't get yours. So it looks like we're at even odds. Looks like all is well in the land of the closing shift.
We found peace.
We finally found peace.
Here it is. If you want some of it, come get it. Come get a piece.
That's right. Keep all that silence in there. Don't edit that shit out.
We should just have like one episode where I just do not edit out any of the silences between our conversations. Like when we move from one topic to another, just leave it.
Whatever the next year for April 1st to be on a Friday is, let's do our show and let's open it with like a small conversation, like not even a minute, and then a terrible joke made on that. We'll have to like write this whole thing out and then make a terrible joke, do some shitty like self-pride laugh at it. And the rest of the episode is like an hour of silence. Nothing.
Just occasional like coughing and sniffing and
just an empty audio track for 1 hour.
I think it would be funny to do an April Fool's Day episode where we do record an episode, but we edit it so instead of it being like,
let's make it all in the right ear. Sorry. That just would be so funny.
Make one of us in one ear, the other in another.
No. Just all in one ear. Just
and
piss
we'll release them.
off.
We'll release them separately. So your audio will be in one ear in one video in one episode.
we'll release one episode that's just my audio from one episode, and then be like, tune in next week to hear the whole conversation. Let's make it an Unis Honest reunion video thing. That one episode. You know what I think would be funnier? I think we should fuck with people's audio in this way. I think we should make an entire episode, and the entire episode has a fade out effect on it.
So just slowly getting
It starts
quieter.
normally, and it just slowly gets quieter for like over an hour.
I think
that'd be really
I think pair
funny.
that with slowly panning it left and right, just subtly. So like,
Very,
there's
very
a
slowly.
certain point where it like it lines up where it's really quiet on the left, but then really
But it
loud
never
on the.
hits all the way left or right.
I want it to be like really quiet on the left one time, and then really loud on the right after. And like, are my headphones broken?
That would be crazy. That would be the craziest shit.
There's so many ways to just fuck with everybody.
Whatever like the next holiday is our show's gonna release on, let's just do that.
I'm gonna prank everybody by going into the compressor settings, and I'm going to set the threshold 1 decibel lower. And nobody's gonna notice.
Why don't we record the show, but switch the audio tracks like vertically? So mine's above yours on the timeline, and yours is below mine. It's gonna fuck with everyone.
I do always edit with my audio on top.
I always edit with my audio on top, so there you go. We both have giant egos. I also name my track Emmy's audio above, and I name the one below other. So yeah, I do the same thing. When I used to edit Big Wow Big, though, I did actually name each track. It was like background PNG, game footage, game audio, Emmy's audio, and Mia's audio. That's what it used to be. I was trying to remember what the 5th track was. I could remember our mic audios in the game in the background. I forgot the game audio was also separate.
The 5th track is dropping on our special EP. What would you say is our best song? Give me a title of our best song right now.
That we like would make hypothetically.
No, that we did make, definitely.
Minnesota. Yeah, that's it. Minnesota. Our song called Minnesota. I was gonna make a whole joke about something else. I was like, no, Minnesota. Actually, that's it.
Yo, go stream Minnesota right whenever it actually comes out.
Go stream it now. It's actually only available on mp3bot.net.
Go stream Closing Shift. It's on Tubi.
Yes, actually, we'll be. God, I wish I remembered the name of that shitty app they tried to make a streaming service. Fuck, what was that called?
Oh, like Pluto or something? Or what do you... Something else?
No. Nope, it was that one that they tried to make a hybrid between watching things in portrait mode on mobile and watching them landscape, and it was on like mobile and TV. It was really bad, and it failed miserably. I can find it by going to Company Man's YouTube channel.
It's always so cringy every time I see on TV that like they're showing a clip from that was like recorded on somebody's phone and it's in vertical. Or like, okay, no, that's not the worst. When it's like a show or like something on TV that's showing a vertically recorded thing for whatever context, that's not the worst. It's kind of like doofy looking. I think the worst thing that I have ever seen on TV and continue to see on TV are commercials that are clearly recorded to be put on like TikTok or Instagram or something, because the entire commercial is recorded vertically on somebody's phone, but that commercial is playing on TV. So it's like an ad you would scroll past on TikTok, but on a widescreen television where 90% of the screen is empty. I hate those. Those look so fucking stupid.
What it was. It was Quibi.
Quibi.
It was Quibi. Quibi was a service where they tried to make shows that fit within a portrait screen if you wanted to watch them that way, or you could also turn your phone and watch them landscape. It would fill out the portrait mode of your phone and look normal as well. But can you tell how dumb that is, considering everyone who ever put a show on there would have to, if they wanted it to be like okay looking, instead of two people on any opposite side of a shot, there would have to be something in the middle that would always indicate that there's something happening.
Yeah, so the sides are just always empty.
That doesn't work.
You know, so you don't even have to shoot specifically for that. We see the way that people rip fucking clips in TV shows and movies onto TikTok, and they zoom it in, and you're still like, yeah, I get most of what's happening here.
Or Quibi would have had to like program it to automatically focus on like the main thing somehow. It just was a bad idea.
No, because it's like, if trying to do that landscape...
They pumped so much fucking money into it and tried to they advertised the fuck out of it and got people to like sponsor it, and then it failed because it was a bad idea.
There
and it
are
didn't succeed.
tons of movies from the 80s and 90s that were shot wider than they actually released, because they released in like a 4:3, but they were shot widescreen. Like the film that they shot on was widescreen.
So I can watch them like that now.
Yeah, so when they were actually released, you would only see what was in the 4:3 safe margin frame. But when they went back and did like HD releases of these shows, they made them the original widescreen, but you could tell clearly that nothing was framed for widescreen. So you'll see like it'll be like there's like one movie, I don't remember what movie it is, but they're in a classroom and it's supposed to be like a crowded, packed classroom, you know, students on all sides.
It's like no one in it.
Yeah, but then when they go to the wide, it's like, oh, there's a row of students on the left, row of students on the right, and complete emptiness for the entire rest of the room because it only had to look full from that angle.
I think I've seen either that or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen a movie where there was only like 6 kids in a normal size class.
And there's a very similar thing happening here with Closing Shift. Y'all don't even know that we actually record a third audio track on top of this. That is the third co-host. But we don't intend it for release, so when we eventually do the HD cut of this show, you will hear them.
Yeah, and actually, for the video version, there will be an impressive second hour of every episode that we actually don't release. We record 2 hours and pick the best hour.
I was like, what audio equivalent could there be of that? That's like, oh no, we just both have a second microphone that's just like kind of close to us, but just not in a good spot. So it's just fucking like fart mic the whole time. And it's like, we dug up all of these Closing Shift audio files from the glory days and we put all of them together.
Or if we were like, we dug up all the footage from our Big Big face cam camera footage. We will be releasing every episode again, but with face cam this time.
Oh my God. I can't remember the last thing that I did that actually had face cam. Like the last time I would have had like an actual like webcam on my face for some purpose. Other than like, I'm talking about like for content purposes.
I know you streamed on your old Twitch channel a couple times with it.
Well, I used to like back before I VTubed, I used to do face cam all the time.
Yes.
Which is promptly why I stopped doing it.
I didn't watch as many of your streams back then. Well, I would assume around the time you started hanging out with VTubers is probably when you started VTubing.
Well, it was around the time that we started Big Wow Big that I started VTubing. And right before we started Big Wow Big, you can hear us talk about it in the Sonic Generations episode. I think it's in the same episode that we shit talk Boomer, which is, I mean, just pick one. But I think I was talking about on there, that was like, I had just dealt with like a huge trolling issue on the channel that I had on Twitch. So like I abandoned that channel because it was just completely overrun with dickheads.
I remember you telling me about that. I don't remember it being on the show, but I do remember that. Actually, I think you literally said that when you got hate rated like last week.
Yeah, that's like the biggest catalyst reason of why I moved away from that channel was like, it was too much of a target for people to be shitty.
Yeah. The Milk is Superior Twitch channel did get hate rated once, but that was eradicated pretty quickly. That was handled pretty quickly. The reason I stepped away from that channel and haven't gone back to it, even though it still exists and has hundreds of followers on it, is because for one thing, in my attempt to escape the internet that failed, I asked Twitch to remove the affiliate status because there was still like one subscriber that was paying every month. And I was like, I should probably not make that person pay because they probably don't know they're paying that.
Yeah.
I also didn't want anyone else to like come to the channel and try to. So I was just like, let me just get rid of the affiliate status on that. So even if I went back to that channel now, I'd still have to earn affiliate again, or at least like apply for it. But it hasn't had an average viewers of 3 in like 4 years. So it probably wouldn't.
I will say right now, I owe you $4.33 that I need to send your way, but I have not sent your way because it is such a fuck you thing to send $4. Here, I'll do it now. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I've had a lot of other shit to think about that I was like, dude, I got so much other shit happening this week. I'm not gonna send a thing for $4. But now,
Emmy can get her money when I feel like it.
It has been sent
in
your
donations.
way.
You expect me to send $100 right now? I'm busy. Well, thanks for that. That just made my bank account a little less negative. Honestly, right now. It's not usually, but it is right now. Oh, cool. legal name sent me $4.33.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for donating to our coffee. Please send more money so it's less embarrassing.
Yeah. It's like
Please stop embarrassing us by sending us little amounts of money. Please send more so it's not so weird.
I don't know why.
Thank you.
I just have this thing, like this infuriation with small denominations of currency.
I don't know why that makes you angry. That does not make me angry.
If I have to hand you like $31 bills,
Wow, I really thought you were going to say a $31 bill.
make it,
I was
print it, mint it.
I got bad news. That's not real.
Should be.
Not my home. I got bad news for you, buddy. It is my home.
Well, all of my $20 bills are $21 bills because I'm the one.
All of my $1 bills have 100 because I'm next. I don't know what about that broke me. The joke wasn't funny. It just, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
that
none
was
of
the
ours
thing.
are.
That's not true.
That's only partially true.
Yeah. Some of our jokes are funny.
They always make us laugh. Yes. They always make us laugh at the very least.
They do. Most of my jokes that make me laugh are ones that I say and then realize what I said after I say it.
I know if nobody got me, my own sense of humor got me.
Yeah, we don't really need anything else other than that. And my $4.33 says it works. So fuck you. I would be more like, I would genuinely be more worried about like anything to do with making money in this field, but I really don't. I don't care about money. Like, the money is great. Sure, it's a benefit. I really like living and being able to afford living. But if I'm not gonna anyway, I'd rather be doing this.
That's true.
I love streaming. I love making my videos. I love doing this podcast. I love you. I want to kiss you. I like money. I like fucking you in a pile of money.
I like making statements on this podcast that make people think, oh my God, Mia doesn't appreciate our donations. She hates our money.
I love doing our show because Mia gets mad and I just have to listen.
Like, I've been sitting here in a hot room for almost 2 hours. This is like one of the longest ones we've recorded.
Yeah, I don't know why we keep recording it. I've thought one of us would have naturally ended it an hour ago, but I was just continuing to
I feel like we've like never naturally ended this podcast. It has always come to a clear and decapitated end.
Well, that's what I mean. It's usually just like, oh, I guess it's a good place to wrap up. That's about as natural as it could be. That's what you do with a show. You end it at some point.
I usually find ways to wrap it up because we record it in the morning, and I like to do things with the rest of my day. If we're doing that from the morning, I'm like, I have so much other things that I can do with my time here, and also like
That is true, I guess.
because there's like actually stuff to do during the day, but it's nighttime now, and what else, what are you gonna do? Sleep?
No.
No.
I mean, I would.
I mean, I've got to be awake at
I don't think I'd be in bed now.
I've got to be awake at 6 a.m. So I got to do that eventually. It's not that late yet. But it's like when we're like this late, then I'm like, yeah, we just keep rocking in the free world, dude.
It's super late for me. I just don't have anything. I mean, I've got work tomorrow at 4 p.m. though, which I want to sleep for, and I'm gonna do stuff before that in the day. Maybe. I don't know. That's not a promise.
Yeah.
But all I would be doing if we weren't doing this is playing XDefiant and TMTL back and forth. So it's chill. Surprised I haven't talked about XDefiant yet.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the newest free-to-play FPS game it is by Ubisoft.
Ew.
It is way better than anyone thought it would be. It's being called a piece of shit by some and the COD killer by others. People either think it's literally like COD's new replacement or the worst FPS to come out in years. I really don't know why people think it's the worst FPS to come out in years. It's actually quite fun and very well put together. It's very impressive for Ubisoft. Not that they make like terrible games when they're trying, but it's a pretty good original from them, and it's picking up enough steam that it's probably going to last for a while at least. It's most certainly not going to be Hyperdrift. It's not going to be Hyperdrift. I know that. Because Rainbow Six Siege is obviously one of their most successful games ever that's an original, and it was built on an Assassin's Creed engine, but this game was built from the ground up, I assume, and it's got fun mechanics. It's got grinding weapon mastery, which I like personally. I hit Prestige 4 in Modern Warfare 2 from that. I also made the Cast-Off 74U gold with weapon mastery. And this game makes you hit like level 100 with weapons to get gold. But it's cool because you get like different weapon skins as you level up more in terms of mastery. So it's cool. Yeah, there's also the like achievement system, the battle pass system, it's all that.
I feel like Ubisoft makes good games as if it's like a really good sandwich that has incredible ingredients and so much love and care put into it, and then corporate jumps in and adds like the worst sauce ever, and it just like soaks into everything. There's no way to get it out of the bun. It's a really good sandwich if you can like scrape off enough of that sauce.
I do also like Mario Rabbids, which Ubisoft did develop with Nintendo's licensing. They make good games sometimes. X-Defiant happens to be one of those games.
Those are two good games.
X-Defiant, you see one good game, you're like, that's a good game. If you see two good games, you're like, wow, those are two good games. I don't think two dumb dogs will ever die.
Well, after the natural lifespan.
Yeah. After I fucking shoot them.
I had two dumb dogs, and they both died.
Kill a dog, you're like, wow, that's one dead dog. Kill two dogs, like, wow, that's two dead dogs.
Both of my childhood dogs, like, died back-to-back of each other. It was fucked up.
Back-to-back, like, in terms of time?
Like, basically, yeah.
That's unfortunate. I had a childhood dog die in the last few months, which broke me down harder than a death ever has, which is kind of sad, not because of the deaths, just because of that humans have died in my lifetime. But I wasn't as close with them as I was with that dog. It was my dog, Sammy. If you have been following my channels, you'd know he was my little white Shih Tzu Bizon combination that was white, and I had him since I was 10 years old. He passed away this year, and I'm 24. And he was 14 or 15, and he was old as shit, and it was his time. I'm happy that he lived out his natural lifespan all the way, and happy that I was there for most of his life. And he is super dead now, but he was super special to me. And I made an Instagram post that I can't read like the caption I wrote, like, "Dear Sammy, blah blah blah, love me," or whatever. I can't read it without crying. It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to even like look at my Instagram profile sometimes when I see pictures of him. But then I'm like, oh, I'm so pretty, I forgot. But whatever, I'm a huge narcissist. So.
I'm pretty sure that like some of my siblings probably have pictures of my childhood dogs, but I don't have any pictures of them on like that I have access to. I'm sure like some of them have like some things, but the only time that I have seen a picture of one of my childhood dogs in the past, like since he died, probably. I think the only times that I have seen pictures of him has just been, even though there's no pictures that are like, this is the things that you can, there was a photo viewer on the Nintendo Wii. Oh. You can put an SD card in your Wii, and there's a photo viewer feature of it where you can like scroll through all the pictures and whatever in an SD card. And so like me and my siblings, we had these like really shitty cameras that we got for like Christmas one year, and we'd like take pictures and stuff on them, and we'd put them on, we'd like look at them on the Wii and do that. And those SD cards were like long cleared and long gone. So like,
that's how I used to watch hentai.
So like,
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just talking about my dead dog. It's okay.
Yeah. Appropriate.
So it's like, I've booted up that Wii maybe a few times in the past few years to just like play a game every now and then if I had like some time to kill. Especially like this was when I was, when we first got Sadie. Because like somebody had to be with her like all the time, and so it was just like passing time watching this puppy. I'd like play the Wii because I was down in the living room. If you like open the application, there's 0 photos, there's nothing there. But for whatever reason, like one picture got saved to the Wii's system memory to be the thumbnail of the photo app, and that is one of my childhood dogs. That like that's the only time that I ever see pictures of him is just like he is permanently
interesting.
He's permanently the thumbnail of an empty photo app. It's like it's a weird thing. It's just kind of like strange in general.
Weird. My parents are huge picture takers. Like they get depressed if we have an event and they didn't take any pictures. And for me, I'm like in reality in 2024 and an adult, and I'm like, we just had a fun thing. Like, you guys are really mad. Like, you're really afraid you're not going to remember it that much. I get it. But I also am, like, really anti-ruining the moment just because you want a fucking picture of it.
Definitely.
That pisses me off so much. And they do that too often.
Nothing kills the moment faster than trying to make a memory out of it when you could just be having the memory.
Like, if you were going to force us into positions that force us to take a picture, I get taking a picture to remember a moment. I do it a lot. Well, I don't. But when there are moments, I do it a lot in those moments. Sometimes. I guess I don't do it a lot. Anyway, my point is that I don't like it. We all did the meetup.
Yeah.
There were plenty of opportunities to take pictures, especially because we're all creators and we all post shit on social media. Like, that makes a lot of sense. But when it's like a gathering for like dinner, we don't need a picture.
Yeah.
We eat dinner all the time. This is nothing special.
Things are like, we have like a couple pictures from that where everybody was like organized.
We do have a lot of couple pictures.
Like there's like a couple pictures that are actually like organized, like everybody posing for a photo. But
yeah,
basically all of the pictures.
I have one on my wall.
And everything that I have, like if I ever like go back and look at pictures and videos from that trip, like everything that I have from that is all like candid things. And I think that's so much better to just have like, if somebody was doing something that was funny, I'd take a video of it, I'd take a picture of it, and that would just, because then it's like, that's how you actually capture a memory, is the actual moment of it.
I mean, that fucking boat picture is one of the most majestic photos of any of all of us that exists.
Yeah.
It just looks chill. I also love that, like, every line of, like, people is doing something different, like how Boomer, Andrea, and Chandler are all saluting at the top. Sam and Ben are just sitting in the middle, like I'm here, and then we're all smiling with our arms around each other at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm sitting down in the corner, just fucking chilling like a baron.
Yeah, and Bo is reaching his arm like 6 feet out just to have it around you.
God, one of my favorite pictures that I have is a picture of Bo. Like he's like when him and Chandler were like out on the lake, just like paddling on like those like boards.
Oh yeah, and I know exactly what picture you're gonna talk about.
Like, he's like 3 pixels tall in it, but you can still make out that he's making an L on his forehead, like towards me. It's the best. It's like my favorite picture.
I also think there's like a video or a picture somewhere of like Bo pushing Chandler into the water or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I have the video of Bo launching his fucking hot dog into like out of the bun into a dog's mouth.
I did not know about that one. That trip was, I was about to say that trip is almost a year and 11 months old. We almost did that trip exactly 2 years ago.
It was around the 4th of July.
Yes.
I'm becoming more of a picture-y person. I have like a little like, I guess it's a camcorder.
No, she's growing up and getting old.
Oh no, but I just have like a little.
She has dementia. Sorry.
I have a little. It's called like a Cool Pix. It's like a camera from the 2000s.
No.
That I found at like a Goodwill. It's like a little Nikon Cool Pix. It's like pink or maybe like a purple, and I just have that like
pink or purple if you're colorblind.
Yeah. But it's just this little digital camera that like it's smaller than a Game Boy. It's easy to get around. So it's just like, it's nice to just take that for like, if I want to take a picture of something, it's fun to just have an actual camera for it and have like a completely isolated thing that is purely for pictures is a very fun thing.
I still have a Sony camera that I bought for filming videos. I just don't use it. Yeah. It's this like $300 camera and it's completely fucking useless. And I could use it for stuff. I thought about using it for like content for a while. Just having my webcam on my monitor and that camera on a tripod. But I don't do videos specifically enough. I would use it as my camera for content, like hooked up to my computer, but it was before Sony cameras could do that.
Oh yeah.
And it was in like 2017. That camera's not that old, but it didn't hook directly up to computers and recognize as camera source, which is fucking annoying. But it's a nice camera. If we ever were to film some kind of meetup vlog or something, it would be good for that. Besides that, that's the most professional camera I've had, except for when in 2005 camcorders were considered a professional camera that you would record on like tapes. We had one of those. Me and my sister made a lot of tapes of footage of us doing stuff.
This little Nikon camera is so old that its primary connector is Firewire.
Your mom is so old, her primary connector is Firewire. Just came up with that right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. But thanks for saying it. What is Firewire? What does that mean? Sounds like that sounds like danger.
It's just a form of like,
sounds like an incident.
It's just a form of port. You know, this is like in the proto days of USB, basically. That is like before anything was even standardized, whatever. It was like a common connector type for cameras and other equipment, things like that. Because it did have the Firewire itself, under specific circumstances, has AV capabilities, is why. But it's also just like proprietary for no reason.
You know what I do remember that I thought was really cool when I was a kid? I had that camcorder. And when I figured out how to, I don't remember exactly if it was that camera, but I don't remember having another camera that was like a camera on its own. And when I found out how to hook it up to actively to actively display on a television what it was seeing, I would just point it at me in my room and just do shit and pretend I was on TV. And that was like enough back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
That's all the technology I needed to have fun. I would just look at myself on the TV and pretend I was on TV. I wouldn't pretend I was on a show. I would just do shit and pretend I was doing it on the TV. And be like, wow, everyone's watching me on TV right now. And now I'm on YouTube and I like give half a shit.
I would take hundreds of pictures on my DSi because I had a camera. So I would just like take pictures of like everything. I had like 2,000 pictures on that thing. Yeah. I had like 2,000 pictures on that thing, and I'm pretty sure they're all gone. Like every last one of them's gone for whatever. I don't even know where it would be. It's all disappeared. Who knows? But I know that like at one point that thing had like, it was just like probably like 500 pictures of just like the TV of the game I was playing for like no reason.
Yeah. If you watch the newest Cosmic Emerald video, Getting to Know Boomer Beat TV, you would know that me and Boomer both used to film gameplay with our laptop cameras aimed at the TV.
I did that with my iPod Touch. I would hold it between my legs and point it towards the CRT TV. And I did that with like...
I didn't have an iPod Touch when they had cameras.
Yeah, I had that. That was like the earliest, like I was watching like Let's Plays and stuff, and I was like, I want to do this.
Megapixels.
This is like probably around the time that like, I don't know, maybe I was like, I feel like I would have been at like maybe 10 or 11 or whatever, like the iPod Touch. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what year or how old I would be, but like had just like pretty new to like like Let's Plays and things like that existing. And I was like, yeah, I'll just record this on my iPod vertically and I'll point it towards the CRT TV that I'm playing like Double Dragon on like my Sega Master System. God, I wish I had that stuff still.
I used to do research on like what settings you can make a camera the best to point it at a TV and capture the footage, because I didn't know capture cards existed. Excuse me.
Well, and also like it was hard finding them back in the day. There like very little existed for it.
Yeah, nothing existed for it.
Yeah,
to me. And also, you don't make money when you're a kid, so how are you gonna buy it?
It used to be if you wanted to record. Like, if you, like, people could actually record some form of Let's Plays all the way back into, like, the 80s and 90s, because you could connect your NES up to your VHS player, and then have a tape inside the player, and then have the player output to the TV, basically making your VHS player a capture card recording to tape.
And then have the TV output to the VHS, and then have the VHS output to the...
Exactly.
That's what you do.
That's what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do.
But I think with all this content talk on this form of content, we'll wrap up there and unnaturally end the show.
I think we're pretty content with what we've got so far.
Because we have an over 2-hour show that I didn't expect to last this long.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not tired, but I'd like to do other things. So thank you for listening this week. We'll see you next week. You can go home now.
Bye.